Hey, it's Kim. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking all about my monthly reset routine. Now, I will say I was inspired to do a video like this because I've seen a lot of them floating around YouTube. I feel like YouTube is my favorite social media platform, or at least it's the place where I ingest the most social media information. So I've seen a lot of these videos and I really like them, of course. I love a reset routine. I already have a video talking about my weekly reset routine. It's a couple of years old, I think, but still relevant, still, similar to the things that I do now. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to go through my monthly reset routine because it really does involve a lot of my planning or my planning system and the way I like to make sure I'm productive and, with productivity and organization and all those things. But I wanted to do my own monthly reset routine because I really do feel like it's helpful to me, of course, to stay productive and to stay organized. And it really does fully explain how my planning system works with each other. So for my monthly reset routine, the main planner in my system, and I do have a video all about my 2022 planner lineup, so you can check that out up in the cards or down in the description. But the main planner that comes into play during my monthly reset routine is my companion planner. And it's currently housed in a personal wide Giglio burgundy, a polka leather that I absolutely love. I sniff it multiple times a day because I love the smell of leather. But anyway, so this is the one that pretty much houses all of my life. So outside of my daily planning that you've seen in my traveler's notebook, this is the one that I look to organize my life and to make sure I'm productive and to make sure everything is running smoothly. And I mean all facets and areas of my life. So in my monthly reset routine, I do have 5 main areas that I like to focus on every single month. So for these 5 areas, I am in this planner and going through all of my lists and everything at least once a month. A lot of times it's more than that, but at least once a month. And those 5 categories are goals, finances, meals, health, and calendars. Yes, that's 5. Those are the 5 categories or the 5 areas that I tend to during my monthly reset routine. Now, I've said in previous videos where I've gone over my planning system that I do like to have a monthly task list that I can't set up until I close out the previous month and then I'm setting up the new month. So this is where all of that comes into play, where I'm closing out a previous month and setting up a new month to determine which tasks I'm going to focus on for that month. And they're all related to those things I mentioned: goals, finance, health, meals, and all that good stuff. So we'll get into the first section. The first section, which I feel like is the most important, at least for me at this season of my life, would be my goals. So I like to check in with my goals on a monthly basis just to make sure I am not letting anything slip through the cracks, to make sure I am still interested in the goals that I originally set, to make sure everything is on track and on target for the way I would like it to be. So I do have a previous video discussing my goals and how I have it set up and organized, and the inserts that I have filled out here in my planner. So you can go back and look at that video after this one if you want some background information on all of the goals that I've set up for myself for 2022. But what I'll do every month is I'll go into this section of my planner and I just check out to see and to make sure or to see what things I've accomplished, what movements and actions I've taken towards my goals, what things I've accomplished, what things, like I said, I can add to my upcoming task list, what things I need to remove from a task list, check off things that I've already completed, so on and so forth. So for this goal category for the upcoming month, and in this video I'm planning for the month of April. I didn't mention that, but this is my monthly reset routine for the month of April. So that means we've closed out the first quarter of 2022. I need to reassess, or I have reassessed, to see what's going to happen or what I'm going to focus on for the second quarter of 2022. And you'll get a little bit of a glimpse of that on these inserts that I have inside of this section. But based on the 6 goal categories that I explained back in that goal focus video, I have spiritual, relationships, health and fitness, personal development, finances, and business. So normally for each quarter, I'll establish some overarching goals that I want to accomplish for each month. Some of them kind of relate to one another, and I can only, complete one goal after I've done another one, so on and so forth. Or some of them are just completely unrelated. For instance, if there's a quarter of the month during which there's a birthday celebration, like that falls under my family and relationships kinds of category, at least for my immediate family, because I like to make sure that birthdays are really special. So there might be things and events that I like to plan for that fall under that goal category. So those would have nothing to do with the goals, say in like the next quarter. So those are goals that wouldn't rely on one another. But if I have maybe like a business goal and I want to, for example, set up a business plan so that next month or the next quarter, I can sort of hone in on the marketing plan that relates to that business plan. I hope you get where I'm going, but I'm trying to explain to you how the tasks that fall into each goal might relate to one another. So like I said, I'm just checking off which goals I've completed or which tasks I've completed under the goal categories. And then I'm making my list of new things that I want to be sure to address in this upcoming month. So that is the purpose of me kind of sifting through all of the information within my goal section. And then once I determine the tasks that I want to get done for this month that relate to goals, those are the things that I will put on my monthly task list. My monthly task list is what helps me to stay on track, like I said, but it's someplace that is kind of like a dashboard, someplace that I do reference frequently, but I don't like to put these items on my weekly task list just in case it doesn't get done in week 1. Then I'd have to migrate it to week 2. If it doesn't get done then, I have to migrate it to week 3. So I just leave it on the monthly task list because it's something that I know I'm going to get to within the month, someplace within the month. And when I'm setting up my weekly planning routine, which I do have videos on, I will reference my monthly task list to see if there's a goal associated task that I can pull in for that week. So that's how I kind of manage when I'm going to address specific areas of my goals throughout the month. The next section is finances. So I do budget every other week, and then in between those weeks, I do what I call like a budget check-in. I look at the accounts, I make sure everything's adding up correctly, money went to where it's supposed to go. So that's my basic finances. So I'm really looking at them quite often, which is perfectly fine, but I do want to establish or at least get into a routine of going over them monthly. And the way I figure that would be a good idea to do that is to set up a budgeting spreadsheet. I've used one in the past, didn't stick with it. I'm a pen and paper kind of person. I think that's primarily why I didn't stick with it. But I do want to set it up so that it kind of tracks and sees the ebbs and flows of certain expenses or maybe certain investments, things of that nature. So what I do want to focus on for the month of April is actually setting up those budget spreadsheets. I've had this on my goal list for the entire year so far. So January, February, and March. I haven't completed this yet. I feel like I need to do it. I just need to do it. I have to do it. We're already at like the 4th month of the year. I need to just set up the spreadsheets, stop talking about it, be about it, and just do it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to add that to my monthly task list for April. All right, the next section is meals. And this falls under the family category, just as finances would. But this falls under the family category. And this is a home section in my planner. And within the home section, for meals, what I like to do, I have a running inventory of what we have in our freezer and the main items in our pantry. Not everything. But I do feel like the pantry and the deep freezer, which we have a deep freezer, can become like a black hole of lost groceries. You just kind of forget what you have in there. You forget what you even bought it for. So I like to keep a running inventory of those things. So the pantry items might be things that are special that we don't use super often. Like I said, not everything. And then the freezer inventory is primarily proteins, but also I do keep an inventory of prepared meals. So the things that we can kind of just throw in the air fryer really quick, that's pretty much like a full dinner, like a full lasagna or something from Costco. That's what I consider, that's what I put together in the prepared meal section. Or it could also be things that I've cooked and there were leftovers. Like maybe I cooked enough for the purpose of being leftovers and I maybe put half of it in the freezer to have at a later date. So those are the things that I would keep on my freezer inventory. So I will go in and reference what we have. I will make up a list, and this is like a group effort with the whole family. I'll ask the kids, like, are there any dinners that you want to have again? Are there any dinners that we haven't had in a long time? Anything. What do you want to have? You know, I'll ask my husband. I'll pick my own brain. I do have a list of the things, of the dinners that we make frequently as well, because I run out of ideas all the time. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been momming for a long time. I'm exhausted sometimes, especially when it comes to meals. So I have a list of all the things that we like to eat. And I will reference that list as well as, you know, ask everyone what they might want to have. And then I'll go through and I'll set up for each week. And I have these inserts from Simple and Trendy Co. And I'll set up a basic outline for each week of what dinner we're going to have for each day. So once that's determined, on that same insert, I can write out what ingredients I'm going to need for those dinners. So I'll write out that list of ingredients that we need for those dinners. And that's how I build my grocery list for the month. Now, the way we approach groceries, I'll order groceries once a month. I explained in my time versus energy video, managing time versus energy, I talked about how I don't like going to the grocery store. Something I don't do. Something I won't do. I mean, I will if I have to. But I prefer to order groceries, and I normally order one large grocery order a month. Throughout the month, my husband might pick up some things from the grocery stores here and there. I might get some fresh produce from Target if and when I'm there. But for the most part, we do a very large grocery order at the beginning of the month, and that's what I'm building this list for. So the list for the list of ingredients that we need for dinners. On that, I'll also add things that we need for breakfast and lunch, so on and so forth. So I build that entire list, and then I go through my calendar to schedule in the grocery delivery, and that is all part of my monthly reset routine. I'll take that time also to update the freezer inventory because, you know, a couple of weeks have gone past since I've last looked at this normally. So from memory, I can pretty much determine what we've used, what we didn't use, what might still be there, or what is missing. So I'll do that for both the freezer inventory and the pantry and update everything accordingly. The next section is health, and I don't have that in my companion planner. I haven't decided yet whether or not I want to add it here, but I do have a health tracker, and the only reason why I don't want to say the only reason, but the main reason why I do have one at the moment is actually because I'm training for a half marathon that I'll be running later this year. So I do normally work out regularly. I like to do different training programs and all of that. But this is the first distance race I've run ever. I've run shorter races, but this is the longest race I've ever run. So I do have a training plan that I want to follow. And that doesn't start yet. But before the training plan, I have other strength plans and everything that I want to start. So I am actually keeping track of what I'm doing when, how I'm feeling. So that's what goes into the health portion of my monthly reset routine. All right, so that's 4 categories that I pay attention to for my monthly reset routine. And the last category would be a focus on my calendars. And what I mean by this is I like to make sure that all of our calendars are synced. It's very quick, easy, and straightforward, but I'll look at the Google calendars, the iCalendars, my pocket planner, which is the one that I use as an everyday carry, and I might write down quick appointment information there. I'll look at my future calendar, maybe for work, to see if I have any bigger work meetings or events coming up for the month. So I like to just make sure all of my calendars are synced so that all of the information is copied into my main planner so I don't miss anything. So for the month of April, I'm just going to reference, like I said, my pocket planner. There's some vacations planned. There are some school events that I need to be aware of. There are some sport things for the kids. I might have family that's going away on vacation, and I just want to be aware of that as well. So all of those things I will put onto my calendar for the month of April. That helps me when I'm prepping my April calendar in my traveler's notebook. Okay, so that is my monthly reset routine. I've explained it all very thoroughly, like I said, with a lot of words, but I promise you it only takes me maybe a half hour if I were to time it. Maybe 1 month I'm going to actually walk through it with you. I felt like I couldn't do a video showing you the walkthrough or the steps without explaining exactly what I'm doing and where it fits into my planning process. So maybe since I've done this video explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing and how it's fitting into my daily planning process, I'll do an upcoming video, maybe not for next month, but another month, showing the actual process of me doing this, like sitting down, flipping through all of the planners and making sure all of the calendars are updated. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you do subscribe, turn on your notifications if you'd like to. And I thank you so much for watching today's video. I truly hope this has been helpful for someone, anyone. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down below, and I'll get right back to you. And anything I mentioned will be linked in the description box below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.